Yeah.
Right. Instead of like, and it's so funny because I think when there's any kind of like slowing down to somebody's digestion, or they're dealing with gut issues, or they're not losing weight the way they thought they would, they're quick to jump to all the big answers when just being able to slow down and breathe a little bit would be a big difference.
Right.
Right. You got it?
I shouldn't have taken it off at all.
Okay. What's up? My name is Jyima Ofori-Atta, certified personal trainer and a holistic health coach.
My name is Shireen. I'm a registered dietitian, integrative health practitioner, holistic health coach, and much more.
And we're going to be here breaking down wellness for you. Let's vibe out, the Jyim Life podcast. So what was your favorite kind of breathing? I don't know if
it's my favorite kind of breathing, but I think the easiest breathing practice or breath work to practice is the 4-7-8. Okay. So you breathe in through your nose for 4 seconds, you hold for 7, and then you breathe out for 8. And just to point out, there is a difference between breathing through your nose and breathing through your mouth.
So I think overall, just so I think everybody can understand, what is the importance of breath work? I know there's so many different variations, and each one has a different intention. But what would you say is the overall importance of breath work and breathing?
So there's a difference between breath work and breathing.
Okay.
Breath work is more of like a breathing meditation of some sort. So there's intention put into it. Breathing is passive. You just do it without thinking about it. Breathing is so important, obviously, in our day-to-day life. So we have to breathe.
Right.
But the thing is, breath work can actually help us have more effective, efficient, and healthful breathing. Breathing through your nose is optimal. It does produce nitric oxide, which is a vasodilator, which helps open up your arteries, which is so important for heart health. It also filters out a lot of the junk in the environment. It can help with lung expansion. It can help with just detoxifying your body in general. So you want to try to get here more than here. When more nasal breathing, less mouth breathing. Now, you don't want to start with strictly nasal breathing, especially if you're starting a new workout. Your workout's going to be really, high impact. And then you're like, let me try nasal breathing for the first time. You're probably going to pass out.
Right.
So you want to start in moments of like, let's say you're sitting behind your computer and you're like, okay, I haven't taken a deep breath for about 5 hours. Let me sit down. You could try the 4-7-8. You could do box breathing, which box breathing is like you breathe in for 4 seconds, you hold for 4 seconds, you breathe out for 4 seconds, and then you hold. That slows things down. And then when you're in a workout or in, traffic or something that's going to make you shallow breathe or mouth breathe, or even while you're sleeping, your breathing is going to it's like exercising that part of your body. Your breathing's probably going to improve. And you're probably going to be more likely to breathe through your nose and not through your mouth.
So I think it's important to we have passive breathing and we have active breathing,
right.
Intentional breathing.
Right.
Even within passive breathing on a day-to-day basis, try to incorporate more nasal breathing.
Right. And deep breaths. So you want to fill up your belly and your lungs, both. You don't want to just be filling up your lungs with shallow breaths throughout the day.
Right.
Diaphragmatic belly breathing is so important in your gut health, even in your gut function, in relaxing your body or your nervous system, and reducing the amount of cortisol in your body. So making sure that you're getting a full breath, a full intentional breath is also very important. You don't want to half breathe.
Right. And these are one of the things that I always say, and we always come across this, I'm sure you as well deal with clients. It's not like the sexy idea as far as a resolution for some things that may be going on, right?
Right.
Whether you deal with stress or anxiety, whether you feel like maybe dealing with some gut health issues, because also we talk about breathing and slowing things down even when you're eating, right? So a lot of times we don't even take those breaths to slow our heart rate down before we go to eat, and then digestion is compromised.
Exactly.
So this being one of those things that isn't like, a pill or a fad or something quick, what's kind of like a mental approach you think that we could adopt to make breathing a little bit more easy to add on to our lifestyle?
So I always start, and I'm so glad you brought up eating and digestion, but in addition to eating and aiding digestion through breathing, it also helps with your fullness. So if you're one of those really fast eaters who's not breathing while you're eating, yes, you're probably going to experience some indigestion. You're probably not going to digest and absorb your food and get the nutrients from your food because you're likely not chewing your food very well. But in addition to that, you're probably going to overeat.
Right.
And so I think one of the best ways to start is to set a timer during your meal time. I always recommend eating for like at least 20 minutes, your meal taking at least 20 minutes to complete. So if you're going to have a 20-minute meal, set a timer for 10 minutes.
Okay.
Take a few deep breaths in, out, use whatever breathing technique you want halfway through your meal. A, it's going to remind you to breathe.
Right.
B, it's going to actually make that meal time more mindful. And C, it's going to help you check in to your belly and kind of get a feeling of how full you actually are. In addition to that, deep breathing can also help increase your leptin, which is your fullness hormone. So there's so many benefits to starting with breath work during mealtime. I actually use that a lot with clients, eating disorder clients, overeaters, people who deal with a lot of gut issues, because we usually forget to breathe throughout the day, and that also includes during mealtime, which is a crucial time to breathe.
And what you said is very important in terms of slowing down breathing, digestion. Let's explain, like, I guess a simple way to put digestion, or what will be the positives from it, is it's that process of assimilating nutrients from the food that you're eating.
Right.
So now you could be doing a great job eating fruits, eating vegetables, proteins, everything is the best, but now your body's not doing its most optimal job in getting those nutrients and delivering them to the rest of you. Right?
Exactly.
And that helps that. And then the second thing you said, which I think was super important, is sometimes people are trying to get a grasp on how they feel so full later. And it's because it takes a little bit for your body to catch up with how fast you're bringing that food in.
Right.
So now when you slow down, it'll give you a higher sense of awareness as to how much you're eating and how full you are.
Right. And you get the physiological benefits of breathing. So deep breathing can activate that vagus nerve, which is your gut brain, your brain body. It's kind of the center of everything. So if you're not taking deep breaths, that activation is not occurring, which is so crucial in your hormone balance, in your histamine levels, which means like asthma, allergies, again, your lung capacity. So that can also be a huge component in why you may not be getting the results that you want during your workout, when you're eating healthier, why you may not be losing weight, because it starts with the breath. It's free. It barely takes any time in your day. Like, I would honestly start there for most people if they're looking to get some sort of routine in there to make their lives healthier overall.
Right.
Because it's easily accessible.
Starting with breathing.
Yeah.
Right. Instead of like, and it's so funny because I think when there's any kind of like slowing down to somebody's digestion, or they're dealing with gut issues, or they're not losing weight the way they thought they would, they're quick to jump to all the big answers, when just being able to slow down and breathe a little bit would be a big difference.
Right.
Right.
And then it's so interesting, like, think about this, like, people are willing to spend so much time, so much money on all these things, but the second I say, why don't you just sit down for a minute and do some breath work? Let's breathe in for 4, hold for 7, let it out for 8. They're like, I don't want to do that.
I don't have time for this. But you know what I think it is because they don't trust it.
Right.
That's the thing. So if anybody who's listening, I encourage you. These are 2 professionals who have tried this and seen it work for other clients. It can work if you trust it.
Yes, I don't even trust it sometimes. I have to remind myself of how important it is.
Right.
Because sometimes I'm like, I don't have time for this. I have that inner voice too of thinking that I have to overdo everything else and the little things don't matter. Right. But when we start with the little things, the bigger things become a lot easier. Your workout becomes easier. Your mealtime becomes easier. just getting organized throughout the day becomes easier because your brain is more clear, you're getting enough oxygen, your nitric oxide, all of the things that your body needs to function optimally.
Right. I think if we're talking about breathwork, we definitely talk about the correlation with stress, right? Like we've all heard some general form of count to 10, slow down when you're stressed out, things like that. What is something that I guess we can apply on a day-to-day basis of when we know we need to breathe in a more applicable form of that, right? So it's like you get that phone call, somebody bothers you, you go to work, somebody annoys you, somebody cuts you off in traffic and you're stressed out. What's something we could imply immediately to kind of negate some of those stressors?
So the tough part is actually identifying that you need to slow down. So once you get to the point of identifying and pausing, then you have a whole menu of options. So you can take 4 seconds of a breath in, hold it for 4 seconds, breathe out through your nose, or sigh it out for 4 seconds and then hold it. That's going to slow things down. Or you could do the 4, 7, 8. But the one thing I would say is if you are able to slow things down and identify that there is a problem, things are about to get crazy, and things are about to get out of hand, that in itself is such a big win. Because then you can be intentional about what you choose to do from that point forward.
Right.
So breath work actually helps you build up to identifying these moments more and more and more throughout the day, instead of having a reactive response and then disrupting your nervous system more, in turn, shooting up your cortisol, being stressed, making more mistakes as a result of that. So once you pause, the second you don't like anything, my advice is always like, breathe, pause, and then if you still want to punch a wall or get crazy or yell at somebody, then give yourself at least 5 rounds of breath work. So whatever you choose. You can even do breath of fire. A lot of you practice yoga, so maybe breath of fire is something you love to do. You don't want to do deep breath work while you're driving. So if you're driving, pull over, and then make a decision. I promise you, I mean, this goes for me too, but I promise you that if you do 5 to 7 rounds of breath work, of any type of breath work, before you react to something that is making you uncomfortable, that your decision from that point forward is going to be a lot more productive than if you were initially reacting without the breath work.
Right. Yeah.
Because what do we do when we're angry, stressed, pissed off? We hold our breath.
Yes. It's almost like just the reaction.
And then what are you doing? It's like it's like a short circuit, right? You're not getting enough oxygen. Everything is in freeze state. Nothing good comes from reacting from freeze state. So get some oxygen in your body, get some nitric oxide, get your brain functioning, 5 to 7 rounds, and then make a decision. It takes seconds.
Right.
And it's free. And you could do it anywhere. I'm telling myself this too, by the way.
No, it's true, but it's weird how we would think, okay, do breath work, and then we would see like some extravagant plan or pill for like $1,000. Okay, let's spend $1,000. This will work. Like, no. You can just do this, and in some cases, not even have to go to that next level. So explain to me the 4-7-4.
4-7-8.
4-7-8.
So you just breathe in for 4 seconds through your nose.
So deep breath in for 4 seconds.
You hold it for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let it out. Okay, again, breathe in for 4, 3, 2, 1. Fill up your belly and your lungs and hold it for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let it out.
You get it. What's...
See, you already look so relaxed. It's a miracle.
Seriously though, it triggers such like responses, and that just took like less than a minute.
Look at your eyes.
Right.
You look like you use some sort of cannabis or something. But like your eyes are so relaxed.
Relax, yeah.
From 2 rounds.
From 2 rounds.
Yeah.
But see, and that's the biggest thing about, I think, incorporating anything new is that instead of saying I'm going to do breath work every day, it's like, no, let's say I'm just going to do it on Sundays. If you've never done breath work before, just do it on Sundays. Now, okay, do it for 1 round. Now you feel a bit of a difference. Then 2 days, whatever it is, instead of what I think we do is I'm going to do breath work. It's free. It's easy. I'm going to do this every day. And it's like, then it becomes something that's tough to manage.
Yeah. Or even do it upon waking every morning for 5 rounds. And that's a great time to do it because your cortisol is the highest in the morning. So it calms your body down. A lot of times we wake up with an alarm clock. So we wake up like all startled. It's like, and it literally takes seconds. So then once you get, great at breath work or you're an expert breather, then you can bring it into the gym. Then you can bring it into other things because then you're not putting this strain on your heart and your body. Right? So you don't want to decide that I'm going to try this crazy workout and breath work, breathing through my nose in and out during this insane workout that Jyima gave me and then hope for the best.
Right.
But once you start exercising it, once you have a routine, once it becomes part of your life, then you can bring it in to other parts of your life.
Like working out.
And then what are you doing? You're balancing your hormones, you're calming down your nervous system, and then you're actually yielding more optimal results. So if you're not able to lose weight and you're eating healthy, and you're not losing weight and you have this great trainer like yourself that's helping you work through that, breathwork could honestly be that missing puzzle piece that's not getting you to your next level.
Wow. That's simple.
That's how effective it is because of all of the benefits of it.
And it's funny because, what that makes me think about is like plateaus, right? So it's like, whether you're just starting out and you've done a week or two, you haven't seen any results, or you've been going at it for 4 or 5 years and you found yourself in the same exact space, something as small as breath work, which you can improve digestion, improve metabolism, improve you just being able to stay in a steady space and maximize your daily function within your body. Like that should be something you turn to or look at if you're at some sort of plateau.
Exactly. And then it improves your performance.
Right.
In whatever you're doing. So if your lungs are expanding bigger, then you're performing better.
Right.
So that's also something to consider, is that it really does improve your performance. Now, on the flip side, yes, breath work is really important, but you also want to make sure your breathing's important. So if you're sleeping and you have dry mouth, you're choking, you have sleep apnea, you're breathing only through your mouth at night, you want to figure out why that's happening, because that is such a big part of your day where you're breathing, and you want to make sure you're breathing through your nose. And that's why you see all these people now sleeping with mouth tape, because there's so many of us that are breathing with our mouths open at night. And again, that's affecting metabolism, performance, your brain, all of the things that may not be functioning optimally. So you want to make sure it's not just the breath work during the day, it's not just the breathing during the day, but also when you're sleeping at night.
Which, with the sleep tape, what is there another way?
The mouth tape?
The mouth.
So a lot of times mouth tape is not the solution if you have some sort of nasal blockage or you have really bad allergies. So you want to first address why you have the blockage going on. A lot of times for kids that are mouth breathers, it could be allergies. It could also be the placement of their tongue, things like that. So I don't want to get too technical and medical with all of that.
Right.
But, it is important to make sure that something is keeping your mouth shut if your nasal passages are open. Right. Maybe something you can do if you don't feel comfortable sleeping with mouth tape is just being conscientious during the day and making sure you're resting your tongue on the top palate of your mouth and you're not breathing through your mouth during the day. Because then you start exercising and getting that muscle strength with your tongue, that you're not just letting your tongue hang out of your mouth or pushing it behind your teeth. And then you tend to utilize the same technique when you're sleeping. Or you could tape your mouth during the day for an hour a day and use that time to start practicing if you don't feel comfortable to sleep that way. But again, you don't want to use mouth tape if you have any sort of heart conditions or really horrible sleep apnea until you address the blockage.
You know what that makes me think about is just the process of going to sleep. So there's one time I was reading this book about like maximizing sleep, and it's like last thing we'll do is like be watching a scary movie and then try to go to sleep.
Yeah.
Try to have like at least an hour, maybe an hour and a half of like decelerate, like just taking your body down, breathing. And I'm sure it could help if at that moment you focus more on nasal breathing, focus more on slowing down so you enter your sleep into that process versus like run around. Okay, let me try it. It's not
right.
It's more difficult.
Exactly. And think about, like you said, like what is a good place to start? Take 5 deep intentional breaths in the morning and 5 to 7 before you sleep. That's literally seconds of your day. And you can put a reminder on your phone. You can put a post-it next to your bed.
Right.
And that can also help you unwind, unplug, do all the things you need to do to get good quality sleep.
Yes. And then what that makes me think about as well is just even when I'm training people, the constant reminder of when to breathe and how to breathe. And I guess not breaking in a more simplistic way in the general for people to understand is that anytime you're getting ready to do work, you want to take a nice deep breath in.
Right.
Now it gives you the energy and the power to be able to exhale while you're lifting the weight or you're doing something that requires some level of strength or power.
Right. Exactly. That's so important. And knowing when to breathe, how to breathe, on what part of the movement to breathe. Yoga is a bit easier because you're not moving as fast, so you can be more mindful. But even having a trainer such as yourself to say, hey, when's the last time you breathed today? Like inhale, because that's part of the training, is that because people forget, you go to like this crazy workout class and they're being lost in the shuffle. When you have that one-on-one, you're there to actually remind them. And then they can take that practice. And when they're doing something out in the world and they're getting, the same thing as like, curling up with a heavy weight, that's putting stress on your mind and body. Getting pushed out in the world is also putting stress on your body. So then you're like, okay, you remember to breathe out. And it carries through all the different avenues of your life.
Yeah, making it a practice.
Right.
Making it a practice, which goes back to what we said about passively breathing and then intentionally active breathing, which is a big deal. Big deal. So I hope people got something out of this, especially the biggest thing is that it's insanely simple to start and try. Don't make it a big production.
And it's free. And it takes seconds.
And it takes seconds. And you reap so much more benefits than that little bit that you'll put in.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.